Any Muslim can, are you Muslim?
What is he talking about?
Okay, there's a historical error in the Quran. Historical error in the Quran.
Historical error?
Yes, yes. In the Quran, it says that Maryam's brother was the sister of Aaron. Now we know from the Bible, if you look at the Bible, Maryam in the Bible was a sister of Aaron, and her dad was called but this is the thing, Maryam's dad was called Imran in the Bible. Your Quran has changed that and has said that Mary in the Bible is the sister of Aaron, but Mary had no brother called Aaron. Can you show me proof where Mary had a brother called Aaron in the Quran, outside the Quran? It's same brother, yeah? Oh, sister of Aaron, your father was not an innocent man, nor was your mother unchaste. So this is talking about Maryam. In the Quran, it says Maryam's father was called Imran. Now in the Bible, we know Maryam was a sister of Aaron in the Old Testament, and her dad was called Amran. Your Quran is mistaken, it's historical error. There's a historical error in the Quran, you have to answer. Also in the Quran, it says Alexander the Great was a Muslim. No historical evidence in the outside.
Are you former Muslim, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So no historical evidence.
Can you read the verse in Arabic?
Okay, so I'm reading English, brother.
No.
Why do you want me to? You can read in Arabic.
No, you said.
I'm not an Arabic speaker.
You're not Arabic speaker.
No. I'm from Pakistan.
So okay.
Yeah.
Can you recite for us the Fatiha?
Yeah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdinas sirat wal mustaqim Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. Now that's enough.
No, I mean.
You can, but they say that in the praise. In the praise they say that.
No.
So, but this is the question I want to bring.
In Surah Maryam, chapter 19, verse 28, the Qur'an refers to Mary with a very specific title, Ya Ukhta Harun, which means, O sister of Aaron. The wording is direct and unmistakable. Anyone reading or hearing it, without theological presuppositions, would naturally understand that Mary is being identified with Aaron, the brother of Moses, a towering figure in the history of the Israelites. And that's exactly where the historical problem begins. Aaron was the high priest during the time of Moses. He lived over 1,300 years before the birth of Jesus. Mary, the mother of Jesus, lived in the 1st century under Roman rule during the reign of Herod. Chronologically, they belonged to entirely different eras, separated by more than a millennium. So when the Quran calls Mary the sister of Aaron, with no clarifying context, it presents what appears to be a glaring historical mistake. Muslim scholars have tried to explain this by saying that sister of Aaron is only a metaphor, a way of referring to Mary's lineage, that she came from the priestly line of Aaron, a descendant of the Levites. But if that's the intended meaning, why doesn't the Qur'an say descendant of Aaron, Durriya Harun, a term it uses elsewhere to refer to family lines, like the descendants of Abraham in Surah Al-Imran 3:33? The Quran has no shortage of vocabulary to express lineage or ancestry. Yet here, it chooses ukhta, a word that literally means sister, with no additional explanation. In both Arabic and Semitic tradition more broadly, familial terms like brother or sister are usually understood literally, either as a biological sibling or someone from the same generation, which is why it's not surprising that even during Muhammad's own lifetime this verse sparked confusion. And that confusion didn't come from critics in Mecca or modern scholars. It came from the Christian community of Najran, who engaged in direct dialogue with early Muslims. According to an authentic hadith, Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah reported that the Christians of Najran said to him, "O Muslims, you recite, O sister of Aaron." But Mary was not Aaron's sister. When this was brought to Muhammad, he didn't deny that the Aaron mentioned was Moses' brother. Instead, he replied, "People used to name their children after the prophets and righteous men of the past." But that response only confirms the problem. If the phrase was merely about a shared name, why would the verse present the relationship so literally and so specifically? And if naming people after prophets was common, why would a biblically literate community like Najran find the phrasing strange? The answer is simple. Because in both linguistic and historical context, the phrase sister of Aaron was not used to mean descendant of Aaron. It was understood as something far more immediate and literal. This raises a much deeper theological question. If the Qur'an is truly divine revelation, how could it contain such a major historical confusion? Did God not know that Mary, the mother of Jesus, lived centuries after Aaron, the brother of Moses? Why did this verse require human clarification, using cultural justifications rather than standing on the authority of clear and timeless revelation?
Now that's enough.
No, I mean.
You can, but they
No,
say
I
they
mean,
say, they say that in the praise. In the praise, they say that.
No.
So, but this is the question I want to bring. In the,
I'm not debating with you, man.
why?
No, I'm not debating.
What question do you have on Christianity?
Okay, what makes you, or what pushed you to change your religion?
Because I don't believe.
What did you find
Okay.
in Christianity
Yeah,
that you didn't find in Islam?
Muhammad was a sinner.
No. What did you find?
I'm telling you.
You find in Christianity.
You find it in the Bible that Muhammad is
Jesus,
sinner.
but Jesus, yeah.
You find in the Bible that Muhammad is
Jesus,
sinner.
Muhammad
So
was
that-
Muhammad was
that means
Muhammad was a sinner in the
Bible.
Quran, but Jesus was sinless.
So that means
So why
Muhammad is
should I?
mentioned in the
He's
Bible.
mentioned in the Bible, yes.
Really?
Yeah. False prophets.
listen that?
Yeah, the worst as in false
Your
prophets.
brother said that Muhammad is
Muhammad
in
is
the Bible.
mentioned in the false prophets verse. There'll be many
time
false
I heard
prophets.
that. It's called-
Yeah, there'll be many false prophets.
This is the first time I heard that.
Can I show you what Muhammad's mentioned? Look,
No, you show your brother. So listen.
Matthew
Christian-
28, and many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. This is the worst
So
of Muhammad.
What is the name of
Because
Muhammad?
Muhammad was a false prophet. He didn't say Jesus
What
Christ.
is the name of Muhammad?
Yeah, because did Muhammad deny the crucifixion and resurrection?
What is the name of Muhammad in the Bible?
It doesn't have to say the name Muhammad, but does he deny the crucifixion and resurrection?
I thought it's old-fashioned.
Did Muhammad?
Try to learn something new.
Can you ask you a question?
I will not debate with you.
You said to
No, you are
teach
not-
me then. Teach
No,
me.
I
then.
will not teach you.
Why do you want to teach
Because
me?
you are not in the.
So why do you, okay? I'm listening.
No,
Can I ask me a question and ask you a
You
question?
are not in the level that you can debate.
Be humble, sir. Come ask
I
me a
am
question.
humble.
Okay,
I stand here with you.
Can I ask you? Okay. If you're humble, show me
Okay,
this.
that prove your Christian. Prove it now to your Christian, please. That the
Why?
Bible, that Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible.
Okay, Muhammad is mentioned in the Bible. I'll tell you why. Okay. In Matthew 28, it says,
News for you, yeah?
"And many false prophets shall arise, and they shall deceive many." Anybody that denies the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, that denies that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, is an antichrist, and they are a false prophet. Muhammad is also a false prophet. So I'll tell you why he's a false prophet. Because he had false prophecies. He said that Allah, Uzat, and Munat are gods. He gave a prophecy attached to these false gods. And this verse came from Satan, where your scholars admitted. Muhammad had prophecy from Satan.
Give me the reference.
Ibn Ishaq, Sirah Rasul Muhammad's biography. That's it. And Ibn Kathir's biography of Muhammad.
Where?
Why? Okay, I'm trying to find it, but
Ibn Kathir.
Ibn Ishaq.
Ibn what?
Ibn Ishaq.
Ibn Ishaq.
Yeah.
Ibn Ishaq.
Ibn Ishaq.
Ibn Isaac.
Ibn Ishaq. You know Ibn Ishaq is?
Who is Ibn Ishaq?
Okay. So it's in Sirah Ibn Hisham's biography, right? But this is
Ibn Hisham.
yeah, and it's recorded
Not
by
Ibn
yeah,
Ishaq.
but it's recorded by Ibn Ishaq. So Ibn Ishaq recorded from Ibn Hisham recorded from Ibn Ishaq.
See, I told you that you're not able to debate.
So Ibn
Do your homework
Okay.
and then came here.
Now the
to debate.
prophet was anxious for the welfare of his people, wishing to attract them as far as he could. It has been mentioned, brother, where are you going? I've got it right here. You're running away from it now.
Don't push me.
Okay,
Please.
wait, read this, read this.
Don't.
This is the biography of Muhammad about the satanic verses.
You are not. You haven't got the ability to.
But you're not answering the question. If you should be easy to debate
I
with
said
them.
you give me a wrong reference.
Ibn, this is the Sirah
that's why
Rasul
I said
Muhammad.
to you, do your homework first.
I've given you the reference.
No, you didn't. No,
Anybody can type in Ibn Ishaq's biography and Ibn Hisham and Ibn Kathir. Your well-known scholars have recorded this. Muhammad has satanic verses attached to him. Muhammad attributed worship to Lat, Uzat, and Manat. Why is Muhammad telling you to worship idols? Lat, Uzat, and Manat. These were goddesses in Arabia. Why is Muhammad telling you to worship false idols? If Muhammad really was from Allah, he would tell you to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why is he telling you to worship these false idols? Could you answer the question, please? Come on, answer the question.
Yeah, ask your.
Answer the question, I've answered you.
Ask the Christian.
Any Muslims could answer this question then?
In the Sirah of Ibn Ishaq, the earliest known biography of Muhammad's life, there is one story that remains a major stumbling block in Islamic prophetic discourse. It's the infamous account of the Satanic verses, known in Arabic as Qissat al-Gharanq. In this early narrative, Muhammad is described as publicly reciting Surah An-Najm before the Quraysh tribe. When he reached the verses that mention the pagan goddesses of Mecca, Al-Lat, Al-Uzza, and Manat, it is reported that he unknowingly inserted a line of praise toward them. The line was, Tilka al-Garanak al-Ula, wa inna shafa'atahunna la turtaja. Translated, these are the exalted cranes, noble celestial beings, and truly, their intercession is to be hoped for. The statement sounded as if it affirmed the pagan Qurayshi belief that these deities held a place of honor before Allah. As a result, everyone present, including the Quraysh, fell in prostration alongside Muhammad, an astonishing event given their usual resistance to his message. But this event didn't last long. According to the same account, Muhammad later realized that what he had recited wasn't divine revelation. It was a whisper from Satan, deceptively mistaken as a message from God. He quickly retracted the phrase and received what is now referred to as the clarifying revelation, found in Surah Al-Hajj 22:52, which says that whenever a prophet delivers a message, Satan always tries to cast something into it. And here lies the deep theological and historical problem. This story was first recorded by Ibn Ishaq, and later more explicitly detailed by the renowned historian Al-Tabaris. It was also mentioned by major Quranic commentators like Al-Zamakhshari, Al-Baydawi, and even Al-Suyuti. In some early accounts, it said that the Satanic verse was later removed by the angel Jibril, who then replaced it with a new verse, affirming the oneness of God and firmly rejecting all intercession by idols. For Christian apologists, this is not just a minor mishap, it's a stunning admission from within Islam's own historical sources. It reveals that Muhammad, at least once, mistook the voice of Satan for the voice of God and presented it as divine revelation. That raises a deeply unsettling question. If a prophet could be deceived into proclaiming Satan's words as God's, what confidence can one have that other parts of the Qur'an haven't been similarly compromised? Modern Muslims often reject this story and call it fabricated, arguing that it was removed in the later redaction by Ibn Hisham, the more widely accepted version of the Sirah. But it is important to note, Ibn Hisham openly admitted that he edited out portions of Ibn Ishaq's work that he considered embarrassing or not beneficial. The removal wasn't because the story was proven false, but because it damaged the image of Muhammad. Ironically, this effort to clean up the history only confirms that the story was indeed present and well known to early Muslim scholars.